Breaking news, and this time, it's global. At 10:47 this morning, Elon Musk went head-to-head with Britain's Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, in a public confrontation that's now being called the most explosive political moment of the decade. Over 2 million people watched it live. In less than 10 minutes, the world saw the UK government humiliated, financial markets in freefall, and the internet erupt in outrage. But how did we get here? To understand what just happened, we need to rewind a few days. 3 days ago, Keir Starmer announced a new wave of digital sovereignty laws, a sweeping plan that would force tech companies like Twitter, Meta, and Google to pay a special tax on British user data. He called it a bold step to protect citizens' privacy. But what came next revealed something far darker. Starmer didn't stop at taxes. Hidden deep within the new bill were clauses that allowed the government to monitor, flag, and restrict online content it deemed potentially harmful or politically misleading. In plain English, censorship. And that's where Elon Musk drew a line. Instead of quietly accepting it, Musk went on the offensive. From his San Francisco headquarters, he called an emergency meeting and then dropped a nuclear revelation. Leaked UK government documents showing Labour's secret plan to monitor political speech before next year's elections. His words were scathing. "They don't want regulation," Musk said. "They want total control over what British citizens are allowed to read, watch, and say online." Within minutes, the statement went viral. #MuskvStarmer trended worldwide. The pound sterling collapsed 4% against the dollar, the sharpest one-day drop since Brexit. Tech investors pulled billions out of UK markets. It was an earthquake, and Musk had lit the fuse. But this wasn't just about money. It was about freedom. Musk accused Starmer's government of betraying the very principles of democracy, of treating citizens like children who couldn't be trusted with information. And the public agreed. A Snap poll showed 64% of Britons sided with Musk, including more than half of Labour's own voters. Outside Parliament, protests erupted in Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow. Thousands of people chanting, "Hands off our internet." And for the first time in years, the British government looked terrified. Inside Number 10, chaos reigned. Leaked messages described ministers screaming behind closed doors. The Home Secretary threatened to resign. And sources inside the Treasury admitted the market. Fallout was worse than anything they'd prepared for. But the real shock came from Buckingham Palace. Because for the first time in decades, King Charles broke royal silence, and his words stunned the nation at a Privy Council meeting. With government ministers present, the king delivered what insiders called a barely disguised rebuke of the Prime Minister's policy. "Britain's strength," the king said, "has always been its commitment to open debate and the free exchange of ideas. Any attempt to limit that freedom risks weakening the foundation of our democracy." It was the kind of statement no monarch had made since the abdication crisis. And it sent Westminster into meltdown. Reports later confirmed that the king had seen Musk's leaked documents before they went public, and that he'd privately warned Downing Street weeks earlier about the bill's constitutional dangers. His warning was ignored. So he went public. In one breathtaking week, the Prime Minister found himself at war with Elon Musk. The tech industry, financial markets, and even the British Crown ducked by Friday. The stock market had lost £120 billion. 5 major tech firms froze their UK investments. And trade unions, Labour's own financial backbone, issued a joint statement condemning the bill and threatening to review their support for the party. Behind the scenes, Labour advisors were panicking. One leaked WhatsApp message read, "We're bleeding support faster than we can spin it." And while Starmer's team scrambled to contain the damage, Nigel Farage seized the moment. At a rally in Birmingham, Farage thundered. When governments fear citizens speaking freely, it's time for citizens to fear their government. The crowd roared. Musk retweeted the clip to his 157 million followers. Writing only, Britain deserves better leadership. Within hours, Reform UK's polling numbers jumped to 22%, just 6 points behind Labour. For the first time, Farage looked like more than a protest vote. He was the face of a populist rebellion, a movement powered by technology, outrage, and a billionaire's megaphone. Meanwhile, Starmer's public appearances grew strained. At Prime Minister's questions, he looked pale, shaky, visibly rattled. Reporters said he avoided cameras, his hands trembling as he shuffled his notes. Insiders described a bunker mentality, late-night meetings, crisis calls, and aides frantically drafting multiple response scripts. And then came the darkest revelation of all. Journalists obtained secret Labour polling data showing that the government knew. British voters overwhelmingly opposed online censorship, but pushed ahead anyway. 76% of respondents said they would reject any attempt to limit what people can post or read online. Starmer's response? They'll thank us later when they understand what we're protecting them from. Those words, leaked by 3 former cabinet ministers, detonated like a bombshell. By Saturday, the Sunday Times was preparing an expose with sworn testimony from civil servants confirming Starmer had personally dismissed the warnings. The result? A total collapse in public trust. Ordinary citizens who once supported Labour began speaking out. Thomas Wilkinson, a factory worker from Leeds, told reporters, "I voted Labour to fix the NHS, not to have the government telling me what I can read online." His voice echoed thousands. In pubs, radio shows, and comment sections, the sentiment was the same. Enough is enough. As protests swelled, Starmer's approval rating hit its lowest point since taking office. Analysts warned he could face a no-confidence vote within weeks. And all of it, every bit of this political implosion, began with one man who refused to stay silent. Elon Musk didn't just challenge a prime minister. He exposed how fragile modern power really is, how quickly governments can lose control when people demand truth instead of propaganda. By Sunday night, Westminster was in freefall. Markets were down again, the unions were wavering, and the palace was monitoring events with concern. Meanwhile, Musk posted just one more message on X. Freedom of speech isn't negotiable. 9 simple words that turned into a global rallying cry. The coming week could change everything. If Labour retreats, Starmer's credibility is finished. If he doubles down, the backlash could topple his entire government. Either way, Britain is witnessing history, a digital rebellion where one tech mogul, a furious public, and even a cautious king stand on the same side of a single principle. That speech must remain free, no matter who it offends. So here's the question now. Was Elon Musk defending democracy or just protecting his empire? Did Keir Starmer cross a line, or was he trying to guard the public from chaos? And could this crisis mark the moment Britain finally redefines what free speech really means in the modern age?